Alright, Gooey, take it away. Can I get failed Nintendo consoles for 600, Gooey? The Nintendo Gamecube is a game console in a blank format. A, circle, B, triangle, C, octagon, or D, cube. I think the answer is D, cube. Good job, Gooey. That's 600 points. Let's go! So the Nintendo Gamecube, one of the worst selling Nintendo consoles ever made, only selling around 21.74 million in its entire lifetime, compared to its predecessor, the N64's 32.93 million. And don't get me wrong, that's still a lot, but it wasn't as much as Nintendo was hoping for. Also, Nintendo did make a small profit off the Gamecube, but lost sizable market share releasing it. But to me, the Gamecube wasn't a fail console at all, but actually one of the best consoles ever made. It had tons of great games on it, like Super Mario Sunshine, Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, and The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. And there's many more to name. Also, don't get me started on the Gamecube controller. The Gamecube had one of the best controllers in gaming history in my opinion. The reason is because the controller is super comfortable to hold. And after you get above the learning curve of trying to use a new controller with random buttons everywhere, you're gonna be having a great time. The triggers are super clicky, also are the buttons. You're gonna be spamming them on for hours on end. The joysticks are some of the best, super buttery and easy to move. And overall, just one of the best controllers I've ever used to this date. So now that we just went over a little bit about the Gamecube, let's go over a brief history of it and see why it actually failed. The Nintendo Gamecube, codenamed Dolphin, was first mentioned on March 3rd, 1999, a day before Sony's announcement of the PS2. And it wasn't until August 24th of 2000, a day before Space World 2000, that Nintendo finally unveiled the Gamecube. Then from September of 2001 to May of 2002, the Gamecube was out everywhere, publicly, and selling millions of units. Is what I wish I could say. The Gamecube had a lot of reasons why it was a failure and didn't sell a lot, so let's go over some of them. First of all, the Gamecube did not have a lot of game launch titles to keep its head above water. The only memorable ones being Luigi's Mansion, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, and Super Monkey Ball. Compared to Sony and Microsoft, that just wasn't enough, and they should have had way more launch titles to compete with them. Secondly, the Gamecube uses proprietary optical discs that can hold maximum 1.5 gigs of storage. And compared to the PS2 and Xbox's 4.7 to 8.5 gigs of max storage, it's a real big turnaround for the Gamecube. Because the games are number one, worst looking, because there's less space on the disc for textures. And number two, the games are shorter, because there's less space on the disc in general. Nintendo should have put more time into trying to fit a full-size DVD into the Gamecube, so then it could compete with the PS2 and Xbox's 4.7 to 8.5 max gigs of storage. Lastly, the controller. I know I just praised the controller for being one of the best controllers in gaming history, and it is, but for people who've never looked or even seen a Gamecube, it is really weird to see a controller with the buttons just thrown on there without any care in the world. And if I'm someone buying a new console, I'm trying to look for one of the best controllers because I'm going to be using it for years to come. And that's a main reason why the Gamecube failed. Because the controller is the main part of the system, and trying to make a funny looking controller could really mess you up because people don't want to be using a really weird looking controller when they're trying to play their games and have a really uncomfortable time playing them. Okay, we just shit on the Gamecube way too much, so let's calm down a little bit. But the Gamecube did do some things right, like disc detail. The Nintendo Gamecube discs had a lot of detail put into the face film. Some examples of this are Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, Super Mario Sunshine, and many more. And compared to Sony and Microsoft, the discs feel like quality and look like quality, and don't just look like a piece of paper thrown onto a DVD and given to you. Secondly, the games. Most of the games on the Gamecube were amazing and never get old, like Pokemon Channel, Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, and the Mario Party games that were on the Gamecube. These games you could play years after they come out and still get days of fun packed into them. And they're still up to quality with Nintendo's recent games like Odyssey or Breath of the Wild. Lastly, the Gamecube had the first ever wireless controller called the Wavebird. The Wavebird is a radio frequency based controller, meaning it sends all the inputs to a dongle connected to the console. The controller and dongle had to be set to the same channel for them to communicate, which is a little dial on each of them, which is a number between 1 and 16, for them to communicate and send the information through to the console. Bonus round! Did you guys know that the Gamecube had a handle on the back of it, which sounds a bit useless for a home console, but that was actually one of the selling points for the GameCube, to have a handle and for it to be portable. But what happens if I told you it's actually one of the best parts of the console, and here's why. Bro, I'm like one of the best Flox players. Like, okay, let me just hit him real quick. Easy. Oh, no, the explosive! No, okay, just don't die. Just, I'm out of here. In my opinion, the GameCube is one of the best consoles Nintendo has ever put out, beside the Wii, of course. And this obviously means, to me, the GameCube beat out the PS2 and Xbox for the best console during the 6th generation war. And it isn't that the PS2 and Xbox are bad. It's just that the GameCube had so much to do with my early childhood that I'll never forget it. I'll never forget coming home from school and playing Super Mario Sunshine, Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, and playing the Mario Party games with my brothers when they would come home too. And that's the whole video. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did, I hope to see you guys in the next one, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace out, boys.